Yeah, sure can.
Cassie, maybe you better get something on before you join us. 8, 6,
It's 9, red 9. Hey, Delilah.
That one. You told me to put it on that one.
Crazy, I thought I got you away from the stable last night.
Well, I went to my meeting and I couldn't sleep, so I took a shower and changed.
And returned for the first spin of the wheel this morning?
Yeah, but I can't think anymore. I just don't know.
Yeah, well, you're getting punchy. It's time to quit, huh?
No, not yet. Not yet. Here, you bet for me. You do it.
Place your bets. Number 1 is too lucky today.
I'm gonna
Okay, number 1, it'll do it. I know it will. Number 1, come on. Number 1,
I think it's 14.
Come on, 18, 1. Come on, 14. Come on, 18, 1. Come on, 14.
It's 1, red 9.
That's it. You made it. Lucky. You're lucky. Oh, God. Thanks.
It's just a sedative. Help you relax.
So I'll go peacefully when the anesthesiologist comes to put me out.
Well, something like that.
I'll be back in a little while to prep you for surgery, Mrs. Buchanan.
Thank you very much. Are they going to shave my head?
Well, part of it, yes. You feel a little anxious?
I'm very glad you're going to be there, watching Dr. Graham and Dr. Taylor. Did they lie to me, Larry?
They told you all the risks involved.
I know that. I guess I just am. I'm very frightened.
Come here. Come here. Oh, baby.
Can I ask you to do me a favor,
Sure.
please? I would like you to tell Clint something for me, just in case I don't live.
Oh, no. I used the last of the sugar yesterday, remember?
It's all right. We've run out of the last of the milk.
Great. Who's in charge of keeping this place stocked?
Obviously, neither of us. You see, I always had people to do those things.
Just spoiled by the Sanders. Great title, huh?
Not entirely.
Huh.
I'm going to have to start making lists and things.
I have an idea. Tonight, we'll make a giant shopping list, and then we'll go to the mall, to that very intimidating supermarket, and we'll roam the aisles.
What a fun evening.
We'll make it fun.
Herb. Bagel.
Or what was a bagel. Ah! It's just as well. I was going to tell you we'd have to duel over the last of the cream cheese.
Yeah. I suppose our horoscope says we're supposed to have breakfast out today?
Why don't we?
Well, we could go to the inn. Have to change my clothes anyway. This shirt might have been all right, except for 2 missing buttons.
Oh? What happened?
Some dame practically tore the shirt off my back last night.
Well, you never told me you associated with people like that.
I didn't until recently. And I'd sacrifice every button on every shirt I have for another night like that.
Herb, do you think we found some sort of magic?
I think so.
I think it's a bit selfish to be feeling this wonderful when there's so many problems going on.
Judith. There are so many gifts in the bag. You have to grab them and run with them, and you sure as hell don't have to look back. Huh? How about some of that unsweetened, uncreamed coffee? Where did you go?
Herb, I think you should move in with me.
We have to get dressed for coffee around here? Hasn't it gotten a little formal?
I'd say the expression is proper.
Look, I am too tired to argue about any of this.
Fine. Then why don't you go and get dressed? Because you're obviously too tired to think straight, or else you wouldn't have come walking in here like that in front of John. What's that look for?
You really think all that was necessary? I mean, it's hardly in your character to act prudish.
John, you and Cassie are hardly brother and sister. I saw the look in your eyes when you saw her.
It was a little hard not to see her.
Well, I don't think that she consciously was thinking when she came in here, traipsing around in that skimpy little outfit, but I think that subconsciously, Cassie has a problem.
Now, what do you mean?
John, she has a gigantic crush on you. She's at least developing one, and but it's understandable, but obviously you disagree.
What is it, hon? I mean, is life going so easy that you just need something a little bit gritty to sink your teeth into?
John, I am not imagining this. The two of you are forming some kind of an alliance that leaves me on the outside.
Well, luckily, I have far too much to do today than to engage myself in all of this.
One more thing. While I'm in Washington, I think you better move back to your loft.
Well, what do you think was going to go on here while you're gone? Or is this paranoia the reason why you tried to get one of us to go to Washington with you?
Why are you so angry?
Doreen, don't play dumb. That's the last thing you are, is dumb.
Why are you both arguing this early?
We're not arguing. We're having a discussion.
Well, end of discussion. Look, Cassie, I've got an appointment with a new client today, about 10:30. Just come in this afternoon. I'll let the answering machine answer the calls.
Okay.
And I will go by and see my sister and tell her that I'll be moving into the loft for a few days. Or longer.
Oh, John. Johnny!
Mom, what was that all about? Why is John moving out?
Come on now. You have every reason for hope.
I know that. But I cannot ignore the fact that I may never open my eyes again, Larry. You know, I really fudged that over with the children, with Kevin and Joey. I told them that this operation was no big deal.
And hopefully it won't be.
I know that, but I have to wonder now if I wasn't being terribly unfair to them. I mean, giving them absolutely no preparation for this at all. It's just, I couldn't do it. I could not bring myself to tell them that they could very well lose their mother just the same way as I lost my mother.
You will come through this operation. And you will probably regain your memory. And life will pick up right where it left off, only better.
I think Clint and I will be reconciled, don't you?
You're the only one who doesn't think so. What do you want me to tell him?
Well, I realize I'm asking a lot of you. But would you please tell him that I know that he's an excellent father and that I have no qualms at all about leaving my children in his care. And that I realized that I was being very unfair to him by not telling him about my amnesia and by keeping the aneurysm secret from him, too.
Don't you think that's something you should tell him yourself?
No, I can't tell him that, because I think he would take it as a positive sign about us. Anyway, I just want you to tell him just in case I don't make it. I mean, if I do, well...
If you do, you got tons of stuff to talk over with him. Don't worry, I won't forget the message, but I don't think I'm going to have to convey it.
Do you have any idea what you mean to me? And how I've always counted on you to be my best friend?
Well, we go back a long way, don't we, kid?
When you married my sister Meredith, you made us so happy. But then she died young and she left little Danny behind.
You had a lot of tragedy in your life. But it's not a cycle or anything. It's not something that's going to endlessly repeat itself. You'll survive this, Vicky, because you are who you are. You go through hell and you come out on top.
Yes, yes.
I'm standing in line to see you.
She's all yours, Clint. I'll come back just before surgery. Okay.
Thanks, Larry. Sit down. Please.
May I, hold your little hand?
Never mind. Forget it. It just popped out of my mouth. Mistake.
No.
Forget it.
No,
Erase that.
Hush
I
for a
didn't
second.
mean-
Let me think about it.
Just
let me. Shh. I mean, you see, one of the thoughts that comes to mind right off the bat. It's not romantic, you know. It's practical. I mean, it concerns John. I mean, after all, this is his loft. It's not yours.
Yes, but well, John's not living here, and he and Dorian are doing very well. We could ask him. He might agree.
There is my hotel suite.
Well, it's very small, and we're always bumping into each other.
I thought that's what this was about, bumping into each other. Huh?
Oh, Herb, you know what I'm talking about. Or, well, I don't know, maybe you don't want to do it because of Dorian.
Dorian? How did she get into this?
I just wondered if she was.
Well, Judith, honey, I'm hesitating because, well, once in a while I like to think about a thing, you know. I don't normally just act on impulse.
Well, neither do I. But I did. And, well, we could get through all the practical stuff if we really wanted to live together. I've just always wondered about whether, Dorian's hold on you.
What hold? Where is this coming from?
Well, she's very possessive about you.
She's possessive about me and Cassie and John and anyone she loves. In fact, that's an expression of it. It's gone awry, of course. But...
Well, I just hope you're not... Look, I know that you've been very jealous of my brother. We talked about that.
Yeah, well, I was jealous in the beginning, and I wasn't expecting Dorian to fall in love again so quickly, but it happened, and it led to my freedom. In fact, it brought home the message that Dorian and I were really through.
I'm just being very stupid and insecure.
Well, you're in that vicinity.
Well, I don't think you really want to make a commitment, so I'm looking for a handy excuse.
I don't want to make a commitment, Judith. You're a beautiful woman, darling. You're warm and you're sexy and you're so sexy.
Yeah?
You've even got a brain. And I'm crazy about you. And if it's all right with John, I'll pack up a few things and move in here tonight.
Looking good. You sounded so anxious on the phone, I thought I should get over here.
Look, waiting for the phone to ring is not my favorite activity. What's with your grandma?
I told you, patience. My grandmother isn't about to cave into a blackmailer until she's thought it through.
Well, thought I don't mind. What if she goes to the cops, gives them a description of me?
Just relax, all right?
Huh, easy for you to say. You're dead.
Oh, yeah. I should have staged my death as soon as I got out of prison, had plastic surgery, and then started over, instead of almost getting killed in Argentina.
$500,000 sure is a lot of money to pay.
Yeah, well, part of it's going to the doctor who won't ask any questions, even if he recognizes me.
Yeah? Well, that's great. As long as I get my 100 grand cut, then we just blow this popcorn town.
So, anything happening with Tom Dennison?
Not a word. But I'm not worried. I'll get what I want from him. I'm sure he's not going to want that cutesy pie daughter to find out about her mom. Hey, I'm getting real nervous now. I want to call your grandma.
Forget it. It isn't necessary. She's going to receive something in the mail today to remind her to get going with the deal.
John's just being unreasonable and disagreeable.
What put him up to that?
Wonderful. There you go again. You're going to take his side without even listening to the facts.
Well, I do know for a fact that you're being very disagreeable this morning on my case about my nightgown.
Which was much too revealing for you to come parading in here in front of John unless you were intentionally being seductive.
Mother,
And then I send you to your room to change, and you come back in this T-shirt, which is so tight, I'm surprised you can breathe.
I just grabbed the first T-shirt in my drawer.
Oh, please. I don't want to do this. Baby, sit down. Look, let's just start all over again, okay? And discuss this thing rationally. You have a crush on John.
That is a statement, not a question.
But it isn't a question, darling. It's obvious, and it becomes more obvious by the minute. Please, you knew the way you looked when you came in here this morning.
Mom, I didn't even know John was going to be here.
Admit it, you're attracted to him.
All women are attracted to John. We are close friends, nothing more. Close friends.
Yeah, sure, you live under the same roof. Now you're going to be working together and...
And what? Mom, I don't understand this. Are you that insecure about John's feelings? Or about my loyalty to you? Why are you so worried? Don't you see how insulting that is for both of us? Or what a fool you're making out of yourself?
There is a chemistry here that has to be dealt with.
I cannot deal with this, Mom. You have to drop this or John and I are going to both move out.
Wonderful. You are protesting too much, my dear. And so is John. Dorian Lloyd here. Oh, hello, Larry. Thank you for calling. I just wanted to find out if the operation was going ahead as scheduled.
You look like you're about to burst into tears.
Yeah, well, they seem to be right here most of the time. I think it's more nervousness than anything else.
Well, you sure are beautiful. Even when you're nervous.
Will they shave my head?
Honey, you are going to come through this. Our family has more than paid their share of dues.
Well, I hope you're right. I pray you're right. But just in case things don't quite turn out that way, I have a request.
Anything you want.
Clint, please don't ever let Maria Roberts take over as mother to our children.
Vicky, for crying out loud. Maria Roberts becoming mother to our children is never going to be an issue. That's the last thing in the world you have to worry about.
But if I die, it could be a possibility.
No, it couldn't. I am not in love with Maria Roberts. And I'm not making any plans to marry her in case you... Vicky, for Pete's sake.
But you know, Clint, you've spent an inordinate amount of time worrying about Tom Dennison taking over as father, so I don't really think that I'm that far out of line to worry about Maria taking my place, especially now.
You should be thinking about positive things, not dreaming up cockamamie what-ifs.
Please. Please don't let's quarrel now.
I'm sorry, honey. I don't want to. I don't mean to do that.
Just listen to me and take it for what it's worth, okay? I don't trust Maria Roberts. She lied at the hearing. She's sneaky, and the children are not that fond of her.
Since when?
I've seen hints of it. Since she's been living at Ace's house, they've had a lot of opportunity to spend time with her.
She has been very kind to them. I'm sorry. Go on.
Basically, that's just it. That's all. It's just that every instinct in me tells me that she would not be a positive influence for them.
Okay, fine. That report has been filed. And now we don't ever have to think about it again. Because you are going to come through this, honey. You are going to come through this. And your memory is going to return. And then you are going to return to me. You see, it's like I told you in the beginning. I know these things. No matter what kind of doubts you have, I know these things. And when you're out there in the operating room, I'm going to be praying to the big boss. And I'm going to be loving you. And I'm going to be planning ahead. For us. That's you and me.
Mrs. Buchanan?
Mr. Taylor. You called it off because of rain? Did you find out they weren't really my x-rays?
I regret that neither scenario is true. I thought you might want one last talk. Mr. Buchanan? Hello?
Dr. Taylor? I was just telling my wife here that I know she's going to come through this just fine.
We'll certainly do everything we can to ensure that.
Would you mind terribly if I talked to Dr. Taylor alone, please?
Do you want Tom to come in?
No. Not until Dr. Taylor's left, but then, yes, please.
Vicky, you know that I'll always...
Blackmail?
Yes.
My God, I thought the leak was bad enough.
Elton, you know as well as I the enormous amount of money we have poured into this research. And the even greater amount this company will realize once we are patented and in production.
What's the future of our company?
Yes, well, some dreadful little man who obviously grew up on the streets came to me with part of the formula in hand. This morning, another part arrived in the mail. So, except for those people we've mentioned, there is only one person who could have known about Macbeth. My deceased grandson.
You told Jamie?
Well, one day when he was in the office and I was trying to interest him in the firm yet again, I thought knowing about Macbeth would excite his interest.
But Elizabeth, he's dead. Isn't he?
Gramps?
Oh, Elton and I were just finishing some business.
Kate, my word, you look more beautiful than ever.
Well, thank you, Elton. You are looking younger than ever.
Huh.
Is there some secret youth formula that you two are hoarding for yourselves? I'll talk to you in a few minutes.
No, that's all right, dear. We're finished, and I have to make a phone call, but I'll make it in my study. I'll be right back. Oh, Kate, sit down and relax. And think about the splendors of Egypt.
So nice to see you again, Kate.
You too, Elton.
Man, it is hard to figure you out. You could have been on Easy Street. How'd you mess things up?
Oh, please. I must have had this conversation with my family 99 times. Maybe Easy Street was just a big bore. Maybe I was born to get into trouble. I don't know. Maybe there's a law somewhere that says any family can't have two perfect children.
Meaning your sister.
She must... I can't believe she hasn't been granted a sainthood.
How come I read in the papers how she came down there to South America looking for you?
She did. That was about the final straw. As if it's not bad enough having the cops after your tail, but your own sister, too.
Well, I also read that she could have killed you, but she didn't. Now, don't she get points for that?
She didn't kill me because she couldn't. It's not like she didn't want to. She did. She just better hope she never crosses my path again. That must be Graham's ready to negotiate.
Hello?
This is Elizabeth Sanders.
Well, it's about time.
I'm ready to talk business. Meet me for lunch at Barry's Bar and Grill.
No, thank you. I already had lunch, and besides, we're not going to do this in public. Look, nothing to be afraid of, unless you, call the cops.
Of course not. I'll come to you then. Where do you live?
Fine, I'm at the Waterside Inn, room number 41.
I'll be there in an hour.
I'll be waiting. About an hour. I think you better get a move on.
No way. I want to watch my grandmother in action dealing with a blackmailer.
John will won't be here till later, Mary Lynn, but what do you want to see him about?
Well, Cassie, you know that my mother died when I was 2.
Yeah?
Well, something has come up, something rather bizarre that makes me think perhaps she's still alive.
What does your father say about that?
Nothing, really. There's this ex-convict that wants something from my father. He gave him a package full of newspaper clippings and letters. There was a letter in this package from a Carol to this ex-convict. Carol was my mother's name. In the letter, she refers to me as Millie. My father told me that my mother used to call me Millie. The thing is, Cassie, the letter is dated December 1972. My mother died in 1970. So when I asked my dad about this, he said it was nonsense. Cassie, if my mother is alive, I have to find her and find out why I'm supposed to believe she's dead.
Well, it seems to me if she is dead, there has to be proof.
Well, Rick called the El Paso County Clerk's office. They suggested that I write a letter to the Austin Department of Health requesting a copy of my mother's death certificate. But that could take up to a month for the answer. I can't wait that long.
I'll tell you what. I'll call Austin using my father's name. You know, the district attorney?
I hadn't thought of that.
Well, I must be learning something. They must be able to give us the information we need over the phone.
Come on. Here we go.
Number 7, ready now.
So much for your winning streak.
Wait, something tells me that 9.
Why not? All right, 9. Now, this is my absolute last bet.
That's the most intelligent thing I've heard you say. You know, this old Delilah's a little reckless.
Yeah, see why I had to change. Come on, 9, please.
Come on, let's go.
Come on, 22. 9. Please, 9. 9. 9, that's it.
Yeah, I knew it. It's always better to go out winning. Come on, let's cash in.
No. One more. Let me do just one more. I know it'll win again. I know.
It's too bad. Death records weren't computerized in 1970, so they're going to have to call us back.
Well, you sure got a lot further than Rick did.
How is Rick, by the way? You still seeing him?
Yes, he's wonderful. Steps by practically every day.
So, it's getting serious.
Yes, and quickly, too. It's a little scary, though, since I've never been quite so serious with anyone before. Well, what about you? Are you dating?
I haven't met a single guy who turns me on, but that's okay.
Well, maybe you'll meet a guy like John Russell now that you're working for him. He's quite handsome, you know.
I wonder if that's about your mom already. Hello? Yes, this is Cassie Callison. All right, thank you for calling. Well, they haven't found anything yet, but they're going to keep checking.
Does that mean there isn't a death certificate?
Mary Lynn, don't decide that. Let's just wait.
Tom, there seems to be more than one of you.
I suppose that sedative is starting to take effect. Won't be long now. About half an hour.
What if it's my last half hour on Earth?
Vicky, please.
I don't know why anybody doesn't want me to talk about this.
Because it hurts, that's why. Besides, why tempt fate?
My survival is not going to hinge on my discussion of it, you know.
I'd just rather think about you in the recovery room, coming out of the anesthetic.
When I have the world's largest headache, huh?
And opening up those beautiful blue eyes, looking at me and saying, "Hi, Tom."
And then what?
That's going to depend on your memory, isn't it?
Oh, Tom, you think I'm going to be appalled by my former feelings for you, and you think I'm not going to be able to look you in the eye. But I think I'm still going to want to be with you.
Well, whatever happens, just as long as you can see at least one of me.
Can I tell you a secret?
Yeah, sure.
You know why I keep wanting to talk about death? It's because I'm terrified. I'm so frightened. I'm so scared.
Vicky, that certainly is not unnatural now, is it?
No, it's just that I've always had such a faith in God and a faith in my religion, and now all I can envision is a darkness, is a void and an emptiness.
It's just the fear. You know, it's one thing to theorize about what happens to us when we die. There's something else to face it. But that faith that has held you up all these years, it won't desert you now. Those beliefs will be there in your heart. They will.
I suppose. But what if this is some sort of grand test?
A test? Vicky, this is a test for a doctor. A doctor who has to perform a very serious operation. But he is skilled and prepared to carry out that operation. You're not being tested here.
I hope not. Oh, God, I pray you're right. Don't talk anymore. Just hold me, please. It helps.
I'm sorry to keep you waiting, Kate.
Oh, that's all right. You certainly left me intrigued. I've been focusing on the splendors of Egypt, and all I can come up with is that you're planning a trip and you want me to accompany you.
No, I want you to go without me, as a matter of fact. On an archaeological dig funded by Sanders Chemicals.
Really?
I thought you'd be pleased.
Well, when did this come about?
Well, actually, it's been in the works for some time, but I didn't think about your participation in the project until recently.
Well, when does it start?
The team goes over in about 2 weeks, and the whole thing will last approximately a year.
Leave in 2 weeks and not return for a year. I can't do that, Grams.
Why not? You've never been reluctant about leaving home for extended stays.
Well, that was before a lot of things.
Such as Cord Roberts?
Well, we're best friends, and I can't leave him. And I don't want to.
Because you love him?
I won't deny that. And I will not tolerate any interference from you about it.
Kate, I admit I would have preferred that you had chosen another man. But I'm thinking about your career. This job would be wonderful. It would make you a part of Sanders Enterprises. And it would make you happy.
You are so obvious. My career has always given you the creeps. Bugs, wild animals, jungles. Now suddenly poking around in tombs up to my elbows in sand is just fine.
I'm sorry, my dear. I have a rather urgent appointment. I'm going to have to leave. But I'd like to talk about this further. Kate, I do want you to be happy. Please give it some thought. And don't say no arbitrarily just because you suspect my motives. It's true. I worry about you and Cord, but again, I want you to be happy. I thought the job in Egypt would be a nice gift.
You can add tissue paper, paper towels, and toilet paper to that list.
You need a truck to get this stuff home.
Not a lot of room in here. Maybe we could get John to move some of his belongings over to Dorian.
Why don't you call her and suggest that? You become her best friend in 2 seconds.
Bet. Yeah, John, we're in here. Come on in.
Hello, Herb. Hi, John. We were just working on a rather extensive shopping list.
John, if you don't mind, Herb is going to move out of the Vernon Inn and move in here.
Yeah, of course, if it's not all right.
No, I don't mind. I just hope the loft can handle all 3 of us. Because I'm moving back in for a while.
Cassie?
Yes, Mom?
My trip is now suddenly up in the air. They've decided to postpone the first meeting of the commission.
Gee, I'll have to call John and tell him all our plans for an intimate few days are going to have to be canceled.
Cass, no matter how it came off, I wasn't saying that you and John are doing anything disloyal.
That's not how it sounded.
Baby, there's just a spark sometimes that happens between men and women that you just can't help or stop, and about the best you can do is remove yourself from the situation.
Maybe I should just move back to Europe. Would that be far enough away from the situation for you?
Oh, please, won't you discuss this rationally?
No, I don't want to. Because this whole thing is too ludicrous.
No, it's not. No, it's not. You just wish it were.
Well, Cass, is there any truth to what she feels? John is a great guy. We're working well together. Who knows, if it weren't for his relationship with Mom, we might. No, this is ludicrous.
Just checking to see if you're alone.
You are in the power position, as you well know. Now, let's talk about blackmail. How do I know you won't be back for another installment of $600,000?
Because I'm on parole, see? Once I get that money, I'm going to leave the country and start a whole new life. Don't worry, I'm not coming back. Look, I'm not a greedy guy. I just, am lost at the moment.
And now for my second question. Who gave you the formula?
I can't tell you that.
I must know. Whoever is responsible could betray my company. I have to take protective measures.
You're going to have to trust me on that, too. No one's going to threaten to sell the Macbeth formula after I do. Now, I want $600,000 in diamonds. Nothing that no one can get suspicious about. Is that going to be a problem?
It might take a couple of days.
I can wait that long, but not much longer. You call me when you're ready. We'll make a transaction.
Young man, is my grandson alive and behind this scheme?
What? You got another grandson other than Jamie?
No, there's only Jamie. But I figure he's the only one who could pull this off. Now tell me.
He's dead, Mrs. Sanders. You must really like that boy a lot. Keep trying to make him come back to life.
If he is alive, and he put you up to this, just tell him one thing. Tell him to leave Landview and never come out of hiding again.
Oh, what can I say except, how about lunch? I'll buy, of course.
I can afford to buy lunch. But what about my factory? How am I going to build my factory? I've spent my whole life saving.
I can't believe you'd come down here expecting to break the bank. I mean, you're too smart to be such a sucker.
I don't need to be lectured right now, Matt. Please. I need some sympathy. I need some money.
At least we didn't totally go down the drain.
Pardon me, and can't help it over here. The name is Cal Mangino.
So?
So I thought you should know I heard that the slots at the casino next door are very hot right now.
You know, I'm very cold. So depressed. Well, common sense is coming back. I want to go home where I belong.
Oh, late idea, but a wonderful one. I'll come with you. Hey, take care, Carl.
Ooh.
A little lightheaded?
Uh-huh. What's my hat? Is it on straight?
Yes, just fine.
I feel like I'm going to the showers.
Why? You just feel like that. You ready?
Uh-huh. Tom, can you go with me as far as you're allowed?
As far as you're allowed.
Good. So I guess now it's up to Dr. Taylor and Dr. Graham and God and who knows. I'm ready. Tom, where's your hand?
Here, Vicky. Well, Vicky, here's Clint. Good luck, Vicky.
Thank you, Clint.
Why don't you sit down?
I don't want to sit down.
But Larry said the operation could take a long time.
Maria, anything can go wrong in there. One small complication.
Why don't you stop dwelling on the negative and be a little more positive?
Maria, Vicky is not having her appendix taken out. She's having brain surgery.
Clint, I have just had surgery myself. Everything went wrong, and here I am. Look, I know the risk and the danger that she is facing, but I promise you she's going to be all right. Now, please, would you sit down and relax, all right? Just sit down and relax.
How are we doing, Brent? BP 100 over 70, holding.
Let's position her. You have good lines?
Yes.
We'll have to watch the fluids. We don't want to overload her system. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. It won't bother me, and I know you and Mrs. Buchanan are good friends.
Thank you for letting me observe. Start a second Ringer's lactate. Administering Ringer's lactate.
How we doing, Fred?
Ready here.
Okay, craniotone. We'll drill several dime-sized burr holes here in the area of the aneurysm, and then cut through the cranium, connecting the holes.
Suction.
Okay. Now let's have a look at that aneurysm.
BP is 80 over 60, heart rate 65. Not as stabilized as we hoped.
No, I'm afraid we're into some problems.
Where's Court? Well, he's at the hospital with your mom. But there was nothing I could do here. I said my prayers for her, and that's what really counts. I promise you she's in good hands. But the horses need exercising, and you guys want to go for a ride with me?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I'm okay?
She's going to be okay, yeah.
Okay, you guys change your clothes, and don't forget your jackets.
Okay, let's go.
Oh, do I owe you a debt for saving my hide. Thank the good Lord for pretty redheads.
Hello, Clint.
Dorian.
How are you doing?
Well, waiting is not something I'm good at.
Back in the days when I was practicing medicine, sometimes I would worry more about the families than I did about the patients. What can you offer a family except words of hope?
Dorian, what are Vicky's chances?
Without being able to see her chart or the test results, I can't give you an informed opinion. She does have Dr. Graham working for her, doesn't she?
Yes.
Yes, he's being assisted by John Taylor.
Uh-huh.
That's a good team.
Well, that's what Larry says, and Vicky seems to trust both of them.
That's important. You know what's even more important? She's a fighter. She's a survivor no matter what, and you know that.
Thanks for your support, Dorian. Oh, there's Cord.
You go ahead.
Thank you.
I wish you would have offered him a little more hope.
He knows how serious this operation is, Maria. There's no point my lying to him. Anyway, my conversation was with Clint, not with you.
Well, that's true, but I am concerned.
Yes, I saw how concerned you were when I walked in here. For goodness sakes. You know, you're really making the most of this tragedy, aren't you?
What do you mean?
I mean, don't you think that we ought to wait to find out if Vicky is going to live or die before you start making moves on Clint?
Yeah, Clint, I'm sorry. I wish I could have been here a little sooner.
Well, I know that you had an important photo assignment this morning.
Yeah, I just hope some of those pictures turned out and they're in focus and everything. I couldn't keep my mind on my work. Hey, are you all right?
Yeah.
I wish there was something more I